back to the green yard. It is a beautiful mid-February evening. Sun's beating down, which I'm not sure if you can tell or not by me squinting, but sun is starting to set later in the day here, and we are over in one of our less talked about areas, which is the pool area of the green yard. Our pool is on the other side, and then we do have kind of these two beds of plants. One is on the inside of the pool fence and one is on the outside of the pool fence. On the inside I have all of my different varieties of bananas. I actually have a rack of bananas that I think I'm going to get to harvest this year, which is exciting. It came out about 2 weeks ago and it is covered in bees. Beautiful giant rack of blue java bananas. So I'm really excited for that. Hopefully I get to do a harvest video here towards kind of the beginning of summer is what I'm thinking, is when that rack will be ready. I have our Jamaican cherry tree. I didn't cover it this year. I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not. It is still alive, but definitely dormant and not the happiest of plants. Behind our fig tree, we have our new ice cream bean tree that I planted last fall. It is doing very well and has put off a lot of new growth in its frost structure there. I do also have one of our plumerias on the inside of the pool fence to kind of grow towards the pool itself. But the reason we're over here is for this our beautiful brown turkey fig. Remember, our brown turkey fig last year produced hundreds of fruits. It was really an amazing producer, but it needs to be trimmed. It's already getting way up here, and it definitely needs to be cut back a little bit this year. So I'm a little late for trimming it. I should have trimmed it a couple weeks ago, but I'm willing to sacrifice some of that harvest this year to get it down to a more controllable size, because it is kind of taking over this entire space, and that's not really the goal. I want it to be big, I want it to shade our trees, but I also want to keep it manageable. So I am going to go in and trim it and do kind of a winter pruning on it. It's just about to start waking up. You can see on here we have a lot of these green tips, but they're not quite pushing out yet. They're just hanging out there. So we're right on the edge of that time to prune. So let's go ahead. I have my shears here and I have my alcohol, my rubbing alcohol, so I can disinfect it. We're gonna go ahead and get started trimming here in 1 second once I go through kind of the different areas that I'm looking for with trimming this tree. Here we go. It's a big tree. It's probably about 10, a little bit more than 10 feet tall. I am trimming it a little bit late. It is starting to put out some figs here, which is not what I wanted it to do. Some of these guys are left over from last winter, so I'm okay cutting those off, but these ones are kind of new, so probably not the best time to trim it, but like I said, I'm willing to sacrifice some of that fruit to keep it more controllable. One of the biggest things that we're looking out for is just like our apples. We're trying to clean up the middle. There's a lot of branches that are crisscrossing, like this one right here, that's literally going across the entire inside of the tree. Definitely don't want that. So we're gonna take out a lot of these inside branches, kind of clean it up a little bit. I also have to lower it all down, so I'm thinking about maybe that 6 foot height or so. The goal with trimming figs, they're very resilient, but you don't want to take more than like 1/4 of the tree off at a time. So we're going to try to take off as little as possible while still achieving our goal of a smaller tree, a little bit more manageable, where I can actually pick some of that fruit. So let's start trimming. Remember to always disinfect your shears before you start trimming, so no disease or anything is spread to any of your tree from other plants that you trimmed. I actually cut some of our honeysuckle with this, which aren't doing very well, so I'm taking them out. They're also in a bad spot, so because they're not doing very well, I really want to disinfect it this time, just in case there's some sort of disease that could potentially affect our fig tree as well. So I'm going to give it a really nice disinfection before I begin. All right. So I went ahead, I did our trimming, I took a lot off the tree, probably a little bit more than I should have, but I'm okay with that. Like I said, I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of the harvest this year for more of a well-shaped tree. This is actually the first time that I've thoroughly done a winter pruning on this fig tree. I probably should have done it last year, but it just didn't happen. And I would definitely recommend the second year that you have your fig tree in the ground to winter prune it to give it a better shape, so you don't have to do quite as drastic as a cut as I did on some of these top guys. Now, I know this guy is going to come back with a vengeance, and it's going to end up being probably 15 or more feet tall by the end of the year, just because of how much it grows. But definitely better to trim it and shape it when you can. Remember, again, with this fig tree too, I let it have multiple branches on the bottom. I've learned that these can actually be taken out and create brand new trees. So that's kind of neat information too, that you can take those out of the ground, make a brand new tree from this one existing tree here. So that's kind of winter pruning a fig tree. I love how much healthier and happier our deciduous trees look, our dormant trees look when we trim them in the winter, like our apple trees and our plums and our pears and this fig tree. It just looks so much more happy once it's been trimmed, and so much more healthy. So I'm excited for another really great abundant harvest from our beautiful brown turkey fig. And as always, live green, plant lots, and of course have fun. We'll see you next time.